The movie starts in the middle of the night in downtown Los Angeles. An armored cash truck stops outside a donut shop, but as two security guards exit the shop back to the truck, an SUV blocks it off. Then the hijackers in body armor and gas masks come out brandishing shotguns, threatening the truck driver to open the door. The truck driver calls in a code red, and the robbers shoot down one of the guards, who tries to reach for his gun before shooting the truck driver as well. When the police arrive, a shootout breaks out, but their handguns are no match against the hijackers' assault weapons. When one gunman is killed in the shootout, the hijackers get away with the armored truck and pull it into a warehouse. Ray, the leader, reprimands Bosco for killing the security guard and informs his crew that they must patch up the armored truck promptly, as they would need it shortly thereafter. Detective Nick Bryans arrives at the crime scene, and according to the evidence collected by Detective Baracco, Nick realizes that they're dealing with skilled thieves who know precisely what they're doing. They came thoroughly equipped to complete their mission, but he has yet to figure out why they targeted an empty armored truck. Bosco is in a car across the street, taking pictures of all the detectives at the crime scene. He presents them to Ray, identifying Nick as the guy in charge. Ray recognizes Nick and tells his crew that he is a commendable detective known for apprehending major criminals. Nick and his team are investigating the case at the police station, concluding that it was an inside job because the hijackers knew about a transfer that wasn't scheduled through the regular carrier. The team suspects Ray, who was released on parole 8 months ago. Donnie is bartending at the nightclub, and when a Federal Reserve Bank employee leaves the bar and forgets his access card, Donnie secretly hides it in a cash counter and walks over to Mac, another member of Ray's crew. He downs a shot with Mac and 2 of his friends before they leave. Nick is sitting at the bar, questioning Donnie about associating with known criminals. He explains that the bar is on neutral grounds, anyone is welcome, and he does not talk much. Donnie gets in his car after the shift is over, only to get knocked down by Nick. He wakes up in an unfamiliar location with Nick and his crew, demanding answers over his relationship with Ray and hanging out with a crew of convicts. Nick strangles Donnie, who confesses that he's just the driver, but he's kept in the dark about the crew's operations. Nick tells Donnie to keep doing his thing, and they'll be in touch. Ray informs the crew, who are surveillancing the Federal Reserve Bank, that it is the only bank that has never experienced a robbery. Ray explains the Federal Reserve Bank's stringent security measures, pointing out that despite 53 unsuccessful break-in attempts, no one has managed to get past the lobby. Despite this, they still plan to rob the bank. At the police headquarters, the detectives discover that Ray, Bosco, and Donnie all served in the Marines. They review the unsolved heists, figuring out that there were no highly sophisticated cases during the 10 years Ray spent in prison. Nick tells his crew that if they nail Ray, they'll solve all the unsolved cases. Ray and his crew are back at the warehouse. He runs them through a day at the bank. Ray explains that every day, the Fed erases the serial numbers of $100 unfit bills from their database. The Fed designates an average of $30 million as unfit each day between 4 and 5 p.m. and shreds them. The waste management company then collects the debris and transports it to the dump site. They intend to steal the unfit bills before they reach the shredders. Donnie gets a job at a Chinese takeaway restaurant that regularly receives orders from employees at the Federal Reserve. He delivers his first order and walks into the cafeteria with 2 takeout bags. After delivering one of the takeout bags, he heads into the bathroom, where he hides the other bag in a ventilation shaft. Later that night, Ray and his crew are at a restaurant having dinner. Nick walks over to Ray's table and greets Donnie, whom he claims to have spotted at the gym. Nick goes off to offend everyone at the table, even their women, until another detective intervenes and apologizes on Nick's behalf. At the warehouse, Ray and his crew interrogate Donnie about him being a cop. Donnie denies it, but Ray pulls a gun on him and asks him how he knows Nick. Donnie folds and tells the crew that Nick came to him and that he knows who they are. He says he hasn't told Nick anything, and he hasn't seen him since. Ray believes him and tells Donnie to make sure that Nick knows the heist is going down on Friday. Donnie meets with Nick at a suit store and confronts him about almost blowing his cover at the restaurant. He informs Nick that the heist is happening Friday at the LA Branch Savings Bank. The detectives are monitoring the bank when a van stops in the parking lot. Ray and his crew get out wearing bulletproof vests, face masks and loaded assault rifles. They walk into the bank, shoot out the cameras, and yell at everyone to get down. The crew confiscates everyone's cell phones, fastens their hands with cable ties, and puts bags over their heads. Ray instructs the bank manager to call the police dispatch, demanding $10 million in a helicopter loaded with fuel within an hour, or else they'll kill one hostage every hour until their demands are met. He declares that the bank will not allow any police to approach and threatens to kill a hostage should a negotiator contact them. As the police and FBI arrive at the scene, Bosco takes a hostage to the back, and a gunshot goes off. The law enforcement team is examining the bank's schematics. Suddenly, an explosion goes off, and they assume that Ray's crew has blown open the safe. Nick points to a sewer line, but according to the map, it's cemented up, but the cracks on the ground make Nick realize it's a trap. Defying protocols, Nick opens the bank only to find a hole in the floor. Ray and his crew have used the manhole to exit the sewer line. Mac calls the Federal Reserve Bank, claiming to be from a security company, and schedules a drop-off from Rivera Savings, which is just minutes away. Ray and one of his men dressed as armed security guards are driving the revamped armored truck. They pull up to a security gate at the Fed and show their IDs to the officer, who lets them through. They park the truck, pull 2 money tubs out of the rear and roll them into the receiving area on the counting floor. Bosco is waiting for the order in the utility tunnel beneath the federal building. Ray confirms over the radio that Donnie is inside the counting room. Bosco then switches off the power grid, which sends the Fed into a brownout, turning off the banknote shredders, the camera and the motion sensors. Donnie is crammed inside the money tub surrounded by stacks of unfit $100 bills. He begins stuffing the cash into black Ziploc bags and tossing them down the trash chute. One of the Fed employees who regularly orders Chinese takeout calls the restaurant, and Mac intercepts the call. She complains that she ordered her food over an hour ago. Mac puts on a Chinese accent and tells her that it's coming. A police security guard overrides the system to turn back the motion sensors and the camera. Ray radios Donnie, telling him to get out. He unscrews an air vent cover and gets into the shaft. Ray signals Bosco to turn the power back on. Donnie jumps out of the ventilation shaft in the bathroom and collects the Chinese takeout bag he left there a few days ago. He delivers the old takeout to the customer, then uses the access card that the Fed employee left at the bar to get out of the building. When the Federal Reserve staff confirms that the $100 bill count is correct, Ray and his man roll the empty tubs back, but they wait in the basement until the waste truck picks up the garbage with shredded bills. The security allows Ray and his man to drive away from the Fed building in the armored truck. Bosco is tailing the garbage truck, and he gives Ray his location. Ray catches up with the garbage truck and blocks it from the front, while Bosco blocks from the back. Bosco runs up to the driver's door, points a gun at the driver, and orders him to get out. Bosco drives away the waste truck and the rest of the crew follows him to the dump site. Nick is speeding through LA searching for Ray's crew. He spots Donnie walking down the street and pulls over. Mac watches as Nick's men drag Donnie into their vehicle where his boys beat him up, demanding to know where Ray is until Donnie gives up his location. When Ray gets a call from Mac informing him that Donnie has been arrested, Ray doesn't respond and hangs up. He immediately orders his men to drive and leave the location. Nick gets a visual of Ray and follows his Suburban onto a backed-up freeway. Ray discovers that Nick is trailing them when he glances in the rearview mirror and spots his truck approximately 20 cars behind. As traffic grinds to a halt, Nick orders his crew to get out of the truck. Ray's crew also exits their vehicle, fully armed, just as the detectives are closing in on them. Ray opens fire, connects one detective and kills him from there. The detectives also exchange fire in self-defense. Bosco takes a fatal bullet in the neck while Ray shoots another detective in the knee, incapacitating him. Ray and his last man run into a street as Nick gives chase. Nick's boy fatally shoots Ray's right-hand man, to which Ray responds by shooting another detective in the arm. Ray then runs into an alley with Nick hotly pursuing. Nick manages to shoot Ray, seriously injuring him. Ray struggles to reload his gun as he lies on the ground, but he manages to do so and force himself to his feet. He walks toward Nick while shooting at him. Nick shoots Ray in the chest and drops behind a car. Ray searches for ammo in his vest but realizes that he's out of bullets. Then he stands up and points his empty gun right at Nick. Nick shoots Ray and marks his end, but when he returns to his vehicle and discovers that Donnie has escaped, they open the black bags in the trunk and find that they are filled with shredded bills. Nick goes to the bar where Donnie worked and asks about his whereabouts. The owner informs him that Donnie quit 2 days ago. He exits the bar and glances directly at the Federal Reserve Bank, quickly realizing that Donnie was the mastermind all along. After a few months, Donnie is bartending at a London bar and sporting a British accent, while Mac and his crew are laughing in the same bar. In the last scene, we see flashbacks of Donnie approaching Ray about the Fed heist, as well as Donnie taking the money from the Ziploc bags, concealing it in tires and shipping it to Panama. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.